I now invite our next speaker, Professor C.B. Sanjeevani, Vice Chancellor of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in Puttaparthi. He's also professor and scientist at the Department of Medicine at the Karolinska University Hospital in Sweden. He will be speaking to us on facing post-COVID challenges, scenario in health, economy, social and international relations, and the impact of COVID-19 vaccine. Welcome, Professor Sanjeev.
Thank you very much. Honorable Foreign Minister, Minister of State for External Affairs, Minister of Health, Foreign Secretary, and other dignitaries, distinguished speakers in the session. My sincere greetings from Stockholm. I offer my humble pranams to my Guru Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Namaskaram to all. I'll speak on facing post-COVID challenges, restricting my talk to scenario in health and economy. I thank the Foreign Ministry for this opportunity to talk in this meeting. And I also take this opportunity to wish our Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, happy birthday. As our Foreign Secretary said, I am the Vice Chancellor of Sri Satya Sai University and a senior faculty at the Department of Medicine at Karolinska Institute in Stockholm. I am a diabetologist and an immunologist by training. I can speak with confidence on COVID-19 and vaccination. I am an example of made in India for the world. I connect India and Sweden predominantly in the life science, promoting academy, industry, and industry collaborations. As you all know, Sweden ranks #1 as the innovation country in the world. Why do we have to worry about COVID? We have to worry because COVID kills people. When you look at the previous cousin of COVID, SARS-CoV-1, it did not kill so many people as the COVID-2 does. So we need to take this virus very seriously. And only way to stop the spread of the virus is vaccination. Vaccination is the key to stop the spread of the virus and prevent death of the vulnerable people. As of yesterday, more than 1.845 million people have died in the world. Sweden's experience in SARS-CoV vaccination program that happened more than 10 years ago is something that is very important for us all to remember. So when the SARS-CoV-1 hit the world, the Swedish government requested the Karolinska Institute to give them advice, and the epidemiologist came up with a proposal. Either the Swedish government can do something, and if they do something and bring the vaccine and vaccinate the entire population, it will cost the government 5 billion kronas. Whereas if they don't do anything, the amount of money that people have to spend and the government has to spend in hospital admissions and healthcare would cost 55 billion Swedish kronas. So the Swedish government took the advice and vaccinated the entire population more than 10 years ago, just for the cousin of SARS-CoV-2, the SARS-CoV-1. So the vaccination spending is cheaper than to let the virus run its course for the people to recover or get herd immunity. So India's approach to vaccination is very, very critical. Health Minister earlier had spoken about India's spending on the vaccine rollout to be something in the range of 50,000 crores in order to help all Indians get the vaccination. This is a wise approach as the cost of non-vaccination would be as much as 500,000 crores, which would be 25% of India's GDP. As you all know, India is the world's largest vaccine manufacturer. Every second child in India, every second child in the world is vaccinated by a vaccine made in India. If you want to look at the vaccine scenario, you have Serum Institute of India manufacturing 2 vaccines, one made by AstraZeneca and Oxford, another by an American company called Novavax, which is awaiting approval. Then if you look at Dr. Reddy's labs, they are manufacturing Sputnik vaccine, which is made in Russia and brought to India by them. Our own homegrown vaccine, which is Bharat Biotech vaccine, Covaxin, and also the vaccine produced by Zydus Cadila is all going to make India a powerful vaccine producing country where other countries will have to depend on buying vaccine from India. So if India has to spend money, it is money wisely spent, and India will also have the negotiating power to get a good price for the vaccine from the vaccine manufacturer, as it is spending for a large population of 1.3 billion people. So ending COVID virus spread will end the spread of infection and save the people from dying. The economy will bounce back and the growth will be in double digit due to the rebound effect. So when will it all end? At Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, the Department of Mathematics is doing a mathematical modeling to identify the time when the vaccine will increase to a certain number of coverage of population, with the result that there will be no spread from people to people. And that will be the time point where the coronavirus will stop spreading from human to human. When that happens, we don't have to worry about people from dying. So we need to roll out the vaccine as much as possible. And with the amount of vaccine that India is likely to produce as we move along in 2021, you will realize that more and more people will be covered under the vaccination program at much shorter interval. Not only people of India, but people of the countries surrounding India, as well as through WHO, people who are living in poor economies will all be taken advantage of with the vaccine that is produced in India that is going to be low cost compared to the ones produced in the United States or elsewhere. So as the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, India has the advantage of supplying vaccine to the neighboring countries, as well as rich and middle income countries, in addition to supplying to poor countries in partnership with WHO. So there is an opportunity also for COVID diplomacy for the good of India and Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we not only make vaccine for India, we make vaccine for the world under the Atmanirbhar Bharat program. Our Honorable Prime Minister spoke about this in his address earlier today in this conference. If you look at the economics of COVID, according to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, vaccine export could generate economic benefit to the tune of $153 billion in 2021 and up to $466 billion during the period of 2021 to 2025. And as the largest vaccine manufacturer of the world, we are going to benefit in terms of economy for the amount of foreign exchange this will generate by selling our vaccines abroad, in addition to paying for the vaccines in India. So there may be a small budget expenditure, but the amount of money that we will generate from the export of these vaccines could outnumber all the amount of money that we will spend on procuring vaccine and vaccinating the Indian population. So there is a great opportunity in terms of economics, and we need to take this opportunity in terms of India's manufacturing capability in order to bring the vaccine to the market and vaccinate everybody through the healthcare system that is already set up in India. And it is all geared up for the vaccination. And we will make a turnaround in terms of vaccine user to vaccine exporter and protect our population and save our elderly and vulnerable people from death. If we can save people from dying, we would have made a great contribution in terms of intervention. So we are most likely to get back into the post-COVID economic scenario, which is going to be a rebound, which is going to be a growth. And all the negative growth that we saw in the last couple of quarters is all going to change to a high positive growth because of the rebound effect that we are going to see. So I would like to end the talk by urging people to follow the advice. And some of the advice that were given, especially by my guru, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, is by observing ceding on desires, which is an important virtue, along with discipline in life, which is an important component for us to follow the rules and regulations in relation to COVID virus spread, and ending the COVID pandemic and get on to the post-COVID world so that we will live peacefully and healthy life. And we have also learned a lot of lesson in this particular pandemic in terms of dealing with so many different aspects of healthcare, economy, etc. Because it is the last pandemic happened more than 100 years ago, and none of us were alive at that time to know what was the impact. At least we could do something to prevent any further pandemic from the lessons learned during this pandemic. So I'd like to end my talk by saying Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Sanjeevi, for sharing your views from your perspective as both an academic and a health professional. As we prepare to roll out a very ambitious domestic vaccine program, you've made a strong case for the use of vaccines in addressing and containing the ravages of this pandemic. And also, of course, the fact that India, as one of the largest manufacturers of vaccine in the world, has both the obligation and a unique opportunity to share its vaccines with countries in different parts of the world.